Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday. It's pretty nice out today, actually. I mean, we've had a good streak of weather this last week. We've had a couple of things we were able to get done because of it. Today we are going to be working on a little bit of a smaller job. We're only going to work probably about a half day, but it's a job for my dad, and we're going to be going down to a piece of property that he owns, a commercial building. There's a tiny little, if you want to call it a waterway, that dumps into a culvert, and what we're going to do is actually just extend that culvert a little bit to where it hooks into the neighbor's drainage ditch, and then we're going to just end up putting gravel over top of it. It's always growing up in cattails, and it's always wet down there. It's just a mess, so this will just clean it up. Like I said, it's a fairly small job. We only have to hook into tie into one culvert, and then we have to tie in one more drain into it. So I think we should be able to get it done today. If not, we'll get pretty close. We're not going to work the full day. It's a weekend. It's Saturday. So what we got to do is load up some equipment. We've got to put the Mini X in my truck and trailer. We're going to head down there and start dredging that ditch. And then I've also got to get the skid loader loaded up into the hook truck. My dad's going to come down after a little bit, bring that down. It should be everything we need for this job, hopefully. So we'll go ahead and get some things warmed up and loaded up and get to going. So one thing I remembered I have to do, I have to switch buckets. I got I think it's a 16-inch, 18-inch digging bucket. I got to switch over to the 30, I believe it's a 30-inch ditching bucket here. When we got this machine, we had the option to get a quick coupler. It was a long time ago, and we thought, nah, we're not going to really be switching buckets that much. And I very quickly realized that was a mistake. It's just 2 pins. The buckets are small. I can pick them up and move them around. It's just kind of a pain, especially when you've got your other piece of equipment, the backhoe with it's a manual quick attach, I guess, if you want to call it that. Nonetheless, it's still really, really fast switching buckets. This is just kind of a pain. It kind of deters me from switching buckets as much as I probably should, but we got to do it today, so let's get them swapped out. quickest I've ever done it. It's really not that bad. I just don't like doing it, so. But it's all good now, so let's get it loaded up, get the skid loader loaded up, and get to work. It's 8:30. We're making pretty decent time. Now, some of you are thinking, wait a second, 8:30, that's not that early. You should have been at work already if you run a business. And I agree with you. I got off work this morning from my other job at 7. By the time I get home, maybe 7:15, jump in the shower, say hi to my wife for about 2.5 minutes, grab a snack on the way out the door, and back up to the shop and load it up. So on the mornings I get off from my other job, we don't always get an early start. I wish we could, but that's not always the case. So you know, like tomorrow, for instance, when I'm gonna not be at my other job overnight, we might get an earlier start. We might be on the road by 7:30, loaded up and on the road by 7:30 or something like that. So it just all depends. But this morning we're still making pretty decent time, so cut me a little slack. Alright, so here is today's task. We've got a small, it's like a 16-inch culvert right there. You can see there's a little grate over the top. And we've got this drainage ditch, if you want to call it that, that runs from that culvert back about 50 or 60 feet to another concrete, basically a concrete basin type thing, little drainage ditch. And so this thing is just a mess all the time. Cattails are always growing up in it. There's always small trees growing in this whole thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run a brand new dual wall culvert all the way up to the concrete right here, and basically tie this in. This is gutter drains from the building next door. Tie that in and basically run all of this in that culvert, and we're going to backfill this ditch as much as we can and still accommodate all the drainage needs from not only this area but also the neighbors, because we obviously don't want to create any drainage issues on their end. So basically just gonna have to get in here, clean this out real quick. It shouldn't take too long. Clean it out real quick, lay the pipe in, and then probably do a little bit of grading up in here just to knock down this edge a little bit, and we'll get to going on it. So stay tuned. So what we're doing right here is cleaning out the bottom of the ditch. There was obviously quite a bit of cattails and garbage right at the very bottom of that ditch, and I was just coming through with that ditching bucket and getting it cleaned out, making it so it's nice and easy to work down there to get the pipe laid in. We didn't have to change really too much of the grade or the slope to get it to drain. It already was pretty much right where we needed it to be. At most, we had to move down a couple inches or so just to accommodate the extra thickness of the wall of the pipe to make sure it lined up the correct height with the culvert. Here, my wife makes a surprise visit to come check on me. I told her I couldn't go to breakfast because I had work to do, and thank God I had something to show for it. But we just about got this ditch all cleaned out, and I got to do just a little bit of touch up here in the end where we're going to meet this concrete ditch, if you want to call it, swale basin here. So a little more cleanup, then we'll get the laser out, check some grade, and start throwing some pipe in. So here's the ditch. It's pretty well cleaned out. A couple of cattails yank out of there, and I know I'm gonna have to clean that corner up down there a little bit. It's more of a gradual angle right now. It needs to be a sharper 90. So I'm gonna throw the pipe in here, make sure we've got fall on it, probably pull it back out because we're gonna have to cut for a coupling and connect into that other pipe there. So moving along. All right, we are switching gears for just a second. My brother-in-law's loading out dirt today, and we're gonna volunteer him to bring a load of rock over to us. He's got the tandem, so he'll be able to haul a lot more, a lot quicker. Not a big deal. It should take up about 10 minutes this time. So he just left to go dump a load of dirt. He'll be back probably in 15 minutes. So figured I'd come over here and get the excavator set up on the rock pile. We're going to put a little bit of rock in the bottom of that trench, compact it just to get that pipe where we want it. Oh, this is steep. Let's get squared up a little bit. There we go. Alright, pull ourselves on up. Come on, come on. So much harder than going down naturally. One would expect that. So at this point, I just like to make sure I got my bucket on the ground and I can slowly ease myself down instead of just slamming down. That's a pretty steep hill. It is. It's pretty steep, but we got her up. Excavators can climb some pretty impressive hills as long as you're smart about it. Here is our truck. He's like, wait a second, that's not where I left the excavator. here. Nate's gonna dump it for us. Thank God I was able to talk him into giving me a ride, because it would have taken me at least like 5 to 7 minutes to walk back over here. So now I'm gonna have energy to finish out the project for today. Thank God. All right, we've checked everything from the first culvert all the way up this direction. We've got good fall. Water's gonna drain except for just this one spot right here. We got a little bit of a low spot, so we got some road pack we're gonna throw in there, and I'll shovel that where we got all the grade and everything where we want it. Then we're gonna start throwing in some pipe, so we're moving along. Got most of the pipe in. We've got 20, 40, 60 feet in. I think there was 80 total, so they're just shy of 60. We had to cut at the end off of this one, but we got this Y in here. We're going to connect into that pipe. We're still waiting on the fittings on that, so that actually will wait. But yeah, plenty of fall in here. Got a little bit of rock underneath of it in the areas that we needed to. Got it compacted, and everything's got plenty of drain on it. So got a 90 right here. Gonna get this one put together and connect into that existing culvert. We're gonna wait on a T for that as well. So we're gonna get most of the work done today. Everything backfilled for the most part. Just wait on a couple fittings. We'll get those in next week. So we're moving right along. Now that is a load. I'm gonna guess there's more than 14 tons there. Which is no problem though. We're only going about a couple hundred feet on the road, really. It's just we're making a big semicircle. So here's kind of the rough grade, I guess, if you want to call it that. Got everything somewhat flowing towards this point right here, where we're waiting on that T that should be here next week. So got one last load. Everything leveled off fairly well. It looks really good. So when I come back to put that T in, I'll finish grading this out, make it look really nice. So might even bring the Harley rake down, really touch it up. So that's that for right now. About to wrap it up. It's about 1 o'clock, so it's good enough for a Saturday morning to go home and spend some time with the family. Thanks for watching. Bonus clip. I forgot before we split for the day, we gotta go fuel up the excavator. So the hook lift truck my dad's got right over there has a fuel tank on it, so I'm gonna drive over there, we'll get that thing filled up, greased up really quick, as I was saying, for brother-in-law, so he can keep loading out dirt whenever he needs to. In case any of you guys were wondering, that was not Usain Bolt running up that hill to the excavator. That was in fact me. So if you blink, you may have missed it, but that was me. Alright, excavator's fueled up, greased, everything's loaded up. We've got 95% of our project done today, which was actually quite a bit farther than we were expecting, given we knew we were only going to put a few hours at it this morning on a weekend, and we just didn't have everything completely ready. So actually it was a good day though overall. We've got 2 fittings we're waiting on. We've got a tee that we got to order in. It'll be here next week. So I've already got the load of rock there to backfill and finish grading out. So really, once we get that tee in, just a couple more hours at it, it'll be looking pretty good. So that's it. That's a wrap for today. Saturday, it's about 1:30. It's time to go home. Have a great weekend.